I think the purpose of an economic system is to serve the people who live under it. I don't think it's to feed GDP numbers or make Ben Shapiro's family rich. I just don't believe that. Why would I think that? I don't think that. I'm not a socialist, but I'm definitely not for whatever this is. So I am, I guess, socially conservative and economically liberal or something. I don't know.
I already want to stop this right now because this clip starts out with him saying, I think the purpose of an economic system is to serve the people who live under it. And we would argue as libertarians that the purpose of an economic system is shut the hell up, leave it alone, and let it do what it's going to do. Okay? Stop trying to make a purpose of an economic system. Okay? Don't let people hurt people or control other people. Don't let people take other people's stuff. Like, stop trying to manage it into this thing that you think is going to do better for everyone, because that's what we live in right now already.
It's weird that there's supposed to be some kind of purpose for an economic system. An economic system is just based on...
It's just people.
Economic theory, economic law, and all it is just people figuring out the best mode of exchange for scarce resources.
It's just us like voluntarily transacting, voluntarily trading with one another and finding the most efficient allocation of scarce resources that have alternative uses. And we're just naturally going to do that. And we don't need someone from up top deciding, oh, our economic system that we have is this. And
what's
so
our
we're going to
mission
make sure
statement?
this. No, like our system is stay the hell out of the way, let people voluntarily trade with one another. And that's the best thing for all of them. And also, that's your only freaking job anyway. You don't have the authority to tell all those people that they can't trade with that person or they can't trade with that person. You're supposed to make sure that people don't hurt people, don't take their stuff. But no, we don't want this managed system from the top. All right, we got to do a little more here.
Say that at dinner. I told you this. When I say that at dinner, they'd be like, well, I'm economically conservative, socially liberal. And I would say, yeah, I'm actually economically liberal and socially conservative. And they would look at me. That was such a crazy concept that no one ever responded. They always assumed I was like dyslexic and just inverted it.
No, it's because it's dumb.
Because that was, they couldn't even get it in their heads. And over time,
I dumbfounded because it was dumb.
They're probably like, wait, if you care about social conservatism, how are you going to be economically liberal?
I'm not a socialist, but I'm I'm economically liberal.
Yeah. What? Does he mean classically liberal? Like leave everyone alone? Is that what he means by liberal? No, that's not what he means at all. He does not mean that.
He doesn't believe in the invisible hand.
He means liberal as in the way that we use liberal
as in days. Progressive.
Yes, as in progressive. Exactly.
Realized it's not just me. It's like the whole country believes that. They don't want socialism. I don't think they want government grocery stores. I'm not saying that. But they definitely don't want a tax code that taxes investors at less than half the rate of wage earners. Like, tell me why that's okay. Yeah. It's totally unfair and crazy.
Now, what I would ask there is, okay, so what's your solution for that? Is it to increase the amount that people who invest their capital are taxed at so you can give the government more money?
That's the liberal answer.
It would be the economically liberal answer. I'd also say factually that's not accurate. So the federal government has their capital gains tax. We know that. He said that wage earners taxed at double the rate of people investing. And actually, like
it's about the same.
It's the same. The median wage earner federally
has an effective tax rate
is about 16%. And someone making $25 an hour, which would be lower than that median wage earner, has a federal tax rate, and this includes Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, of about 15%. And so it's about the same, not double, same.
He's only talking about high wage earners.
Yeah.
So the people that are paying an effective tax rate of 30 to 40%
if you add
on their wages.
If you add in state taxes as well, you can get to that depending on what state you live in. So that's true. And he is right. We should just get rid of the federal income tax and then let the states decide. And that way people can at least leave their states.
Stop taxing income, and then we solve the problem.
Why would you tax income? Why would you tax investment? Why would you want to tax investment? Why would you want to tax it more? The same argument for income. How do you think people create things that then create jobs or create all the cool stuff? Now, I realize he's against cool stuff, except for microphones and video cameras and stuff like that, boats probably. But how do you think you get those? Like, people with capital invest in those things so they can make a return. Obviously, the more you tax that, the less people are going to want to invest that money, or the more they're going to demand in return for those investments, which would actually have the opposite outcome that you want, because they're going to find ways to make those investment income returns so much more to make up for the fact that they're getting taxed. And that's going to create another financial system that you just hate even more.
And by the way, it does the opposite of what you're talking about in this basic thing, which is going to make everything more expensive.
Yeah. Obviously.
You make capital more expensive by taxing it. You make the product and services themselves more expensive by default.
Let's see what else he says.
Mm-hmm. By the way, it's not the free market. That's a government policy. And you're defending it. And now you're watching them on the internet. I try to stay off the internet, but I did see it today because people I know are like, no, food prices really, food inflation up 30% in the last, year and a half or something. And you're not allowed to complain about that. Just make cheaper burritos. Now, obviously, I'm way richer than the average person. So actually, I don't even know what food prices are because I don't go to the grocery store. Okay. I'm also a man in middle age. So I am disconnected. I'll totally admit that. But I know that it matters because you have to eat to live.
Yes.
So anyone who says it doesn't matter, probably my enemy, actually. And I don't care what you call yourself. Well, I'm a free market capitalist. Okay, I'm Santa Claus. It doesn't matter. You're defending something indefensible and ugly. And I'm not for it anymore. No, and I feel like the last thing I'll say is we are so free to say that now. That is the upside of this moment. It's like, I don't care anymore.
One thing that bothers me here is talking about people defending the $20 burrito, or the people who are saying like, oh, it's not a problem. Now, first off, the people who are saying that are really just trying to defend the Trump administration and Republicans because they're concerned about whether or not Republicans are going to win in the midterms. If there were a Democrat in office right now with the exact same numbers everywhere, then they would be saying that there's an affordability crisis, and Democrats would be saying that this is the greatest economy in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I agree with Tucker on this point. You should be allowed to complain about it. That's what we talked about on Dumb Bleep of the Week against, Dan Crenshaw saying you're not allowed to whine.
It's like, I realize this all makes me it all gets so confusing to talk about, because now he's like criticizing the people that use like, well, this is the free market. I'm a free market capitalist as their response. And so now he's criticizing that and saying that people need to do more. But then at the same time, I'm like, it's not the free market anyway that's caused this problem. And so it bothers me that he's not identifying that. Like, this is a guy who spent the last several months criticizing the government for a specific thing. That's what he's been doing. But when it comes to the economy, now I never hear him talking about, and the government screwed this up, and this isn't even the free market, and you're upset about affordability. Instead, he goes to, well, why are rich people investing and getting taxed at half the rate? What are you talking about, dude? You do sound like a socialist. Of course you do.